Breathe.
I kept saying it depends always on Twilight.
It looks nice though.
Yeah, it does look nice.
Compared to the off.
Twilight, yeah, it does look a lot better colour.
Look at that. I mean, there's a mix of yellow and red.
Well, those are the right colours. It's still. My dissertation was based upon comic book heroes and their influences on people in society. And for this audiovisual piece, I wanted to take from it something unique, something a little bit off the key, but in keeping with the actual subject itself. So I delved more into the comic book heroes themselves, and studying one of my favourites was Batman. While watching Batman Begins, I quite enjoyed the scene when Batman is first seen taking on a bunch of mobs in the docks. Where are you? Here. And I wanted to create something very similar to this, but using one of the different comic books. I decided then to go with the Red Hood, or Under the Red Hood. Under the Red Hood is the telling of the story of Jason Todd after he was brought back to life from the comic book Death in the Family, where he was murdered with Joker by a crowbar. I wanted to take from that piece the idea that this is a man who has a hatred towards the criminals he fought, but also a hatred towards his mentor Batman, who brought him up, for allowing him to die and for not killing the Joker in his process. A death for a death. But Batman always has this code that he never killed. Red Hood believes in the same methods as Bruce Wayne, but of course he's willing to kill where Bruce isn't. I was highly inspired by Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, the way he took Batman and worked more into the mind of the Caped Crusader, creating a more realistic approach as to why Bruce Wayne would dress up like a bat. Now I wanted to do the same, but with Jason Todd's Red Hood. What makes this man become a vigilante, and why does he go against Bruce Wayne's code and decide to kill instead of imprison? The Red Hood, in my eyes, would have to demonstrate, to get into the mind of the Red Hood, I had to think, what would happen if you was brought back from a brutal murder? What kind of effect would that have on one's mind? And that was what I wanted to get inside the Red Hood. The reason I played the Red Hood in the film was I had a clear understanding of my vision of what the Red Hood was supposed to think, the way he moved, the way he thought. This is a man who is back from the dead and he wants revenge, but he still has the ideals of fighting crime that was taught to him by Bruce Wayne. But this time, there's no holds barred with the Red Hood. I chose Darren for the role of Black Mask. Black Mask is a very sort of suave, uplifting type gangster who puts the fear of God in his competition using a skull-like black mask.
I want this man dead. When I say dead, I mean seriously dead. Beaten, broken, his head mounted on my wall, kinda dead!
Darren, though not an actor himself, has had experience in front of the camera. And what I liked about Darren was his persona, the way he was perfect for Black Mask. The only problem was with the time allowed, we would have loved to have had Darren in the Black Skull mask during the film, but time dictated that we didn't get that. But the character itself came across quite well. The Red Hood, being an apprentice of Bruce Wayne, was very athletic, something that not a lot of the guys on our set were capable of, bar the exception of myself and Darren. So a lot of the scenes where I was climbing up and down through rafters, jumping from the ceiling, from my professional wrestling background and my previous stunt work with stage performances, I was able to throw myself around and hide up in the rooftops and support my own weight during the filming process, which a lot of the guys weren't able to do, sadly. A lot of the stunts were worked out on the day. Now, the Red Hood being Batman's apprentice, he would move very similar to Batman, but not quite. Batman has his cape and cowl. The Red Hood, being a much more down-to-earth, grittier type of person, using weaponry instead of batarangs. His combat style, being a disciple of the Batman, would be very similar. So I got my inspiration from Arkham City, where in the game I followed the way Batman moved, the way he would disarm someone, the way he'd grapple someone with his legs from a height. That sort of thing would be the way the Red Hood would combat criminals as well, but with the added exception of having a gun and a couple of knives at hand. My original intention was to shoot the whole picture in a docked area, very similar to the scene in Batman Begins. However, due to time, funding and legal reasons, we needed to come up with an alternative, and I spoke with Chris, who, being from the area, recommended that we should do it in one of the underground areas or a car park. And then we immediately got the idea of the Armada Centre car park. And then after visiting it, it's this sooty, dark, underground, granky sort of place. Was perfect for the scenes. The whole place was lit up with tungsten lights, giving this lovely red and orange glow to the shots. The concreted floors left a very uneven texture, which was ideal for when Andrew was killed and left dead on the floor. I particularly wanted to focus on close-ups of the characters' faces, seeing their expressions, and then with the Red Hood emerging in the background, almost as if he was a blur or a ghost or a phantom. In one scene, I come down from the ceiling and I slowly follow Andrew as he's walking. I'm out back, out of focus, and I just come off the camera, and then I wanted to create more suspense using quick and sharp angles rather than continuously focusing on Red Hood himself. Using a normal boom to record the voice, the sound needed something a little bit more emphasis to create the atmosphere for the film. For this, I decided to experiment in breathing into the microphone and messing with the settings in an equalizer on GarageBand to create this uneven, rusky noise throughout the film. Also with the music, royalty-free music normally doesn't quite create the atmosphere that I'm after. So I decided to experiment by taking lots of different songs from Incompetech and mixing them together myself to create an entirely new piece of music. Leveling different sounds with the music and timing them precisely with Red Hood's movements, I wanted to create more than just an atmosphere, but as if the music was running along with the characters themselves. The Red Hood himself, in my opinion, had to look rusky and slapped together. Though he is Bruce Wayne's protege, Bruce Wayne has billions of dollars at his fingertips to make the cape and cowl. Jason Todd, however, coming back from the dead, is on his own with no money. I felt that the outfit had to be, rather than what it looks like in the new DC 52, which was plated armour, more simple lycras, old SWAT body armours, the beaten up jacket, old boots, to create a more realistic version of the character. The outfit itself was comprised of a leather coat, trousers, boots, a SWAT team military armoured plated vest, and a lycra mask. The mask was based on the design rather from the animated series or the new 52. It's more based upon the Under the Red Hood comic book, where it was literally a lycra sheet over his face rather than a whole mounted helmet. And I went with this design purely for the simplicity of the construction of the outfit. Maybe given time, we would have gone for the more armoury look to Jason Todd, but with the budget, time and the realisticness of creating the piece, we decided to go with a more dirtier, grittier Red Hood